American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tennessee shouldn't be surprised because they knew who he was when they recruited him. If you all of a sudden thought, like, oh, he's just going to be happy with what you've given him so far, and then he sees Carson Beck leaving Georgia to go to Miami and getting the $4 million NIL deal to do that. Like, you can't be surprised when these players look around the landscape of college football and say, if you won't give it to me, somebody else will.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. I feel very, I don't know, springy today.
It's very pretty outside.
Beautiful. Have you noticed the reduction in pollen the last few days?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that nice?
I know.
My car is no longer yellow.
With the yellow dust. Nope. Big fan of that.
I'm no longer shoveling it off the screened-in porch.
Yep. Nope.
Even better. I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. We are available on YouTube, as always, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, get to us. Appreciate you liking, subscribing, sharing, joining us. There's a little box for you to leave a comment in the chat. You could always throw questions. We do one-timers every day at, well, technically it says 12:45, but never starts before 12:50.
Yeah.
Ever. But that's what it's targeted for, and we would love to include your question. We would even love questions that go beyond Hurricanes hockey.
Mm-hmm.
When we do our mailbag segments, 90% are Hurricanes questions.
Yeah,
90%.
Yeah.
They're all the same question, by the way.
Yeah.
No, like
when's Nikishin starting?
Right.
What's our goalie situation?
Why can't we already bury Brent Burns or Dmitry Orlov? It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Up to their neck in sand so they don't play anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get that. We have too much. Anyway, we are I think going to be, we're going to get an announcement today on playoff stuff. My guess.
Nice.
Should get it. We should have had it already. They announced the first two games yesterday. Winnipeg and Minnesota. That in the first Saturday games are on TNT, and then Dallas, Colorado was the night game. There's like a 5 o'clock game and then an 8:30 game. I believe those are our first two games. We know all the matchups are set. The last spot up for grabs last night was settled. Montreal got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's begin.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
And we'll start with last night. Canes lost in Montreal 4-2. I will tell you that for me, watching the game last night was less about the actual game. I know everybody wants to win. The Hurricanes tried to win. They actually played, I thought, a pretty good game.
Yeah, not
last
bad.
Night. No, I thought they were good last
almost
night.
a different roster.
It was. I thought Montreal was the better team in the first period. It was 1-1. Carolina was, I thought, significantly better in the second period, and they trailed 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit here all day and debate why. I think I know the reason. We'll get to that in a minute. Here's Rod Brindamore on the game and what it ultimately came down to.
we made a couple coverage issues, and they ripped them in the net. That they had their chances, and then I think the game was pretty even. I haven't looked at the scoring chances, but zone time, all that felt like it was after the first period. We did a real nice job, and I think we controlled the face-off. Like there was little areas that we were doing well, and like I said, I think the skill. Obviously, Suzuki has all alone in front, can't leave the best player all alone, and he ripped in the net, right? Like that's what they do. So a couple little breakdowns, they took advantage of it, but overall, I thought we did pretty well considering what we were walking into, and the guys weren't missing, obviously.
Yeah, the coverage issue, like on the Nick Suzuki goal, to me that looks like a Dmitry Orlov problem, but it could also simply be communication. Everybody else looked like they had somebody, but Orlov was sort of kind of loitering in the middle of the ice. He at one point did have somebody, but then backed off when there were two Hurricanes fighting for a puck with two Canadiens. But Orlov never found a player to cover, and that open man just happened to be Montreal's best player. Not really the guy you want to leave open. With that said, last night was also largely about young guys, and I'll go through them very quickly in a second, but with two guys making their NHL debuts, Skylar Brindamore and Dom Fensor on the back end, and Bradley Nadeau, the top non-Russian prospect.
Very good last night.
As a forward, great shot. The question was obviously about how the young guys played.
I think they acquitted themselves well. I really do. I think, like I said, it's a tough environment to walk in, but I thought all of them, did a nice job.
To varying degrees, yes. For instance, his son Skylar made his NHL debut last night. I thought Skylar had a rough first period. But I thought after that, I thought he was fine. But it was a rough first period. There's no doubt about that. Took a penalty, lost coverage on the first goal. So, yeah, it was not tremendous. But after that, he was okay. To me, the two guys, the young guys, the prospects who stood out the most were Bradley Nadeau, the forward, who showed you the shot, but also got to the front of the net, deflected a shot, and then helped create a little bit of a scrum that led to the Tyson Jost goal.
Very smart.
That was so... Arguably, that's more important than him, unleashing the shot, because it shows you that he's not a one-trick pony. He did kind of blow coverage on the third goal because he was there, but he wasn't doing anything. And I know it's not in your nature to maybe get into a physical battle in front of the net, but you did it at the other end, so you should be able to do it in your defensive end. Just because you're not a defenseman doesn't mean you don't have to do anything when there's a man alone in front of your goaltender, and it's not a power play. So there was some good and bad. I thought Dom Fensor, undersized defenseman. I say that because he is significantly undersized, 5'7", about 160, 165. But I thought he was excellent last night. He is unafraid. And I guess when you're 5'7", playing defense, you better be unafraid, or you better be a great skater. He happens to be both. I don't know what kind of future he's got, but last night he looked like he could play in the league at some level. Maybe it's a third pair. Maybe it's third pair with some power play possibilities. But I thought he did a good job killing penalties last night, too. I liked those two guys a lot. I actually thought Fensor was better than Scott Morrow last night. And I thought Morrow got better as the game wore on. I thought Morrow struggled in the first period, but got better as the game wore on. But I thought Dom Fensor was a better player. Best player last night for Carolina was Taylor Hall. No second place. He was tremendous all night long.
So good.
Andre played a good first period, and then his game kind of trailed off. And if you didn't see the 3 Montreal goals that Pyotr Kochetkov allowed, if you stepped out to go to the bathroom, go to the refrigerator, pet the dog, if you didn't see the goals and you said, man, Pyotr Kochetkov was really good tonight, okay.
Yeah.
It's sort of how when the pre-trial hearings were televised during the OJ trial, and the jury couldn't see any of that stuff. And then when the trial started and so much of that stuff became inadmissible, you went, how did they not convict him? Because they didn't see half the stuff that we all saw. That's why. Well, unfortunately, the stuff you missed, if you missed the 3 goals, takes, hey, Kochetkov played pretty well, to, yeah, he wasn't very good. Because you're only as good as the goals you allow, and the second and third goals can't go in. Can't go. I know Nick Suzuki was the first goal scorer, and he was relatively close, but that was not a high-danger opportunity because he wasn't close enough to the net. It was a great scoring chance, but Kochetkov gave up the short side. From that angle, cannot do it. And there's no way that third goal can get in from distance because, I mean, Kochetkov was basically like he was having a picnic. Why are your knees on the ice when the shooter is 45 feet away?
And let's
Come
keep
on,
the
man.
puck in the rink, not the delay of game.
He had 2 bad moments handling the puck. He gave a puck away early for a chance that he made a good save on, and then he threw the puck in the trash. He was, to me, discouraging because he's going to have to play in the playoffs. So that Pyotr can't be used in the playoffs. We have to have a different version of Pyotr Kochetkov. Otherwise, Freddie Anderson's going to play all the games, and we know how that ends. All right, the NHL is expected to release their full playoff schedule this afternoon. Real quick, Monday makes the most sense because for Carolina, New Jersey, mostly because the Devils have a concert in their building on Saturday. So if we go every other day, it goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. But I'm hearing the most chatter around Sunday than I do Monday. And if it's Sunday, let's just hope the Canes don't lay an egg in Game 1. Joke. Our first Easter joke.
There you go.
I'm sorry. And with that, Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I apologize that you have to follow the worst of my dad jokes today. All right, so the Raleigh City Council approved the rezoning for Tom Dundon and the Hurricanes to begin Phase 1 of their 4-phase renovation of that property. What can you tell us?
Yeah, this was the last major hurdle. This was the rezoning of that entire property, and that will allow the Hurricanes to begin at the end of the NC State football season this year to begin work on the first phase. That means 2 parking decks. It means the 4,500 seat concert venue that's going to be operated by Live Nation. It means retail space and likely some bar restaurant space as well. So you should start seeing some activity in those parking lots right at the end of NC State season, so November, December.
All right, so that's the literal end or the figurative end if they get off to a bad start. I'm just kidding. Don't even. Do we know in this phase what they are likely to start first? Is it going to be the parking deck? Are they going to start with the concert venue? And we can fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I think the first thing is the parking decks, the parking structures, and they hope to have one of them ready in time for the 2026 football season. The other one may take a little longer, probably not be ready until 2027, but they hope to begin construction, after the NC State football season and have it ready for the next NC State football season. So they'll be working a lot out there. I think all the other parts of it, the concert venue, everything else I mentioned, probably is a 2-year project, so probably won't be ready until 2027. I'm interested with the concert venue if they They're going to host concerts there after Canes games or after NC State football games to try to get people to stay around in that area, even when the game is over.
That'll be interesting. Maybe on a Saturday afternoon game, right? You go to a concert after that. I could certainly see that. 45 seat. That's a very small concert venue. 4,500 seat venue would probably rule out like the Rolling Stones. But I mean, no, I'm obviously making a joke. But I mean, there are a lot of good artists that would come and play a venue like that. I saw Robert Plant and Alison Krauss at Cocoa Booth, 3 times. That would be a perfect spot for them.
Yeah, one of the things we've heard is that, a lot of artists come or concert, promoters come to Lenovo Center and want to have a concert, and they're like, well, it's too big.
Too big.
The Lenovo Center's too big for the artist or for the number of tickets they're going to sell. So they wanted to have a secondary venue where they could say, hey, look, the Lenovo Center might be too big, might be too expensive. Why don't we try to do something at a smaller venue right here on campus? And Live Nation's going to run it, so obviously they think it's going to be to bring in, or a lot of shows, venue, concerts. I think the door's open to what kind of events are held there.
Is any residential development going to be part of Phase 1?
So the residential is going to be part of Phase 1B, as it's been explained to me, and that is likely to begin after the 2026 NC State football season. Obviously, they got to pay a lot of attention to football season, and
right?
Don't want to tie up too many parking spots with construction materials and construction vans and all that stuff. And so the plan is to start building some of the residential stuff after the 2026 football season.
All right, so parking deck is going to start first. I mean, I'm sure that there are renditions of renderings where it's going to look, where it's going to go. But how much of the current, let's say, the gravel lot that is to the left, if you're coming out from the arena, to the left of Carter Finley Stadium, is that where they're planning on the parking structure? Where exactly?
Yeah.
Where is it?
So that plaza area between Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium. So if you're looking at the Lenovo Center from Carter Finley Stadium in that plaza,
right,
it'll be just to the left there, where the media parking is. I know a lot of people are familiar with that, but
okay,
to the well, I guess it would be the right side if you're staring at Lenovo Center. From Carter Finley Stadium right down that plaza to the right side is where all the construction is going to take place in the first phase. That's where the 2 parking structures are going, plus the tailgating zone for NC State football games,
right?
Plus the concert venue, plus retail and entertainment. It's all going to go in that parking lot to the right if you're staring at the Lenovo Center from the plaza from Carter Finley Stadium.
The concert venue is going to be that close to Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium?
It is. It is going to be that close. That's the first part of where they're going to do it. They have the 4 phases are divided into approximately 20 acres.
Right.
It doesn't divide down quite that neatly, but that's going to be the first phase of development in that area. Those 20 acres over there.
All right. Now, I found this I find all these things interesting, but there is also plans for a replacement for the arena down the road. And where would that be located? Would that arena be located? Wouldn't be located where the arena is now, because there would be a large gap, probably 2, maybe 3-year gap, before you could actually use it if you were to place it where Lenovo Center is. So my guess is that maybe a further end of the property, and we have to be 15 years away from something like that?
Right, and I don't know if there's plans for that so much as that is kind of the forward thinking on this. If you're going to develop these it's going to take about 5 years to do each phase, and if you get through the 3 phases in 15 years, suddenly you're sort of at the end of life for the Lenovo Center, and if you've built up all this infrastructure around it, you're not going to go move the Lenovo Center to downtown Raleigh or to Cary or somewhere else. You're going to keep it on the same location, and so that last 20 acres that wouldn't be developed in the first 15 years, at least as part of a longer-term plan, that is sort of the plan for possible replacement to the Lenovo Center. That's not really sketched out, but that is kind of the long-term vision.
Final question for Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter. Where does the baseball stadium go?
If you know, please let me know. I've been doing a lot of work trying to figure that out. There is a lot of land in West Raleigh over there, a lot of it owned by the state, and it may take some deal making between the Department of Agriculture and the Hurricanes, or whichever group gets the baseball stadium. I've often said that the space right there where Cary Town Center used to be,
right.
Easy access from I-40, right there across from Fenton. I don't know if that's a large enough space, but they're tucking baseball stadiums into pretty tight spaces these days.
The truth is that is not that far from where Lenovo Center is right now. Right? It's not that far. It's 4 miles?
Yeah, it's just a couple exits down the road, right? That was
right.
Exit 293, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think ideally you would want that, connected to this district. Like ideally, you would want a baseball stadium within walking distance of all of these other things. But Fenton, in and of itself, is a little bit of a shopping residential hub too. But look, if Tom Dundon's going to...
I'm speculating. I just want to be clear. I'm speculating. I think they would try to put it out closer to all this development Tom Dundon's doing.
One more thing. What kind of consideration are they giving to Cardinal Gibbons, which is literally across the street from Lenovo Center right now?
Yeah, there's Cardinal Gibbons' students came and administrators came to these public meetings and said, look, we're not against the development, but we'd like some... work done to improve the safety for pedestrians and for young drivers. None of that was really given, but both the city council and the Hurricanes have, in part because some of that land is not owned by them. That's land that's owned by the North Carolina Department of Transportation. But both the city council and the Hurricanes have said, we understand we don't want kids getting hit by cars around this development. So I think there will. Yeah, I think there will be some work done to make it more bike-friendly, more pedestrian-friendly, and to try to ensure the safety of 1,600 students coming in and out every day to Cardinal Gibbons.
Single day. Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter at Murph's Turf on Twitter. My friend, appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. Brian Murphy here on the Adam Gold Show. So it's cool to read that. It does seem amazing that everything takes so long. We literally have been having these discussions. Well, they go way back, but Philip Isley, Centennial Commission chair, has really expedited all of this. They signed all the agreements, but man, this feels like we've been sitting here in like a holding pattern for an entire year, which we have. And now it's going to take until the end of the football season, which isn't around the corner. I mean, it's going to seem like it because everything goes fast. We're coming up to the start of the summer soon. That will go fast. And then football season, boom, over. By that point, construction. All right, thanks to Brian Murphy. Corey Lavallette's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk more about the Hurricanes there. Duke got great news yesterday. Con Knippel is going to the NBA draft. And you might say, wait, that's great news? Actually, I think it is because he's going to be a top 10 pick. We know Cooper Flagg is going to go. He hasn't declared yet. We know Kamon Malawach is going to go. He hasn't declared yet. We don't know what Tyrese Proctor is going to do. Everybody I talk to thinks that, yeah, he could come back, but he'll probably go. He'll probably go test the NBA, and if the NBA doesn't want him, he'll figure something out from there. But we have other good news because Caleb Foster is coming back. He put this out. Do we have it? Caleb Foster put this out on, I guess, a Duke podcast.
What's up, Duke fans? It's C-Foss here. As I mentioned before on previous podcasts, that growing up, it's always been a dream of mine, chasing championships here at Duke. That has not changed at all, and I'm excited now that I'll be coming back for my junior year to keep going and keep pursuing to get that national championship number 6.
That would be great. Foster does stand a good chance of being the starting point guard. Remember that kid from Princeton ended up signing with Florida, as Brendan Marks said he would yesterday. Duke has not pulled anybody out of the transfer portal yet. We have also heard just two names, one saying he's going and one saying he's staying, Foster and Knipple, although I got the order mixed up there. Again, we assume that Flagg and Malawach are going to go, and we don't really know about anything else. So for a program that is still thought to be one of the best, not a program, but a team that is thought to be one of the best in the country for next year, we really don't know much about their roster. And that is, for some Duke fans, could be a little unsettling. Anyway, we'll take a break. We will come back. Corey Lavalette, North State Journal, and The Athletic. We have one Hurricanes game left, but we are going to look ahead to the playoffs since we know it's the New Jersey Devils. Corey joins us next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save it, rebound! Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, score the confidence you need to start your journey with the power and exceptional capability of a new Ford F-150. With available smart tech like Pro Power on board, it's game on when F-150 is part of your team. For great offers and to learn more about a new Ford F-150, go to buyfordnow.com or see your Carolina Ford dealer today. Always consult the owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster, and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Hey friends, it's Paul Eihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. And all right, sports fans, you know me. And if you're looking to make a power move off the field, listen up. It's the Go Big and Go Home sales event at Clayton Homes, and it's on right now. We're talking brand new homes starting at under $150,000. Yeah, under $150K for a smart, modern, energy-efficient home built to last. Own a mobile or manufactured home? You could trade it in as your down payment. It's that easy. Visit the local Clayton Homes or Oakwood Homes near you, or browse their limited time deals at gobigandgohomesale.com. And don't wait, everybody. That clock is ticking. Tick, 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 tick. This sale ends April 30th. Sales price is for the home only and does not include required taxes, delivery, and installation. Install price will be higher. Contact your local retailer for complete sales price information and for a list of eligible homes. Discount may not be available on all models. May not be combined with any other offer or promotion. Sales event ends 4/30/2025.
At Bailey's, love not only sparkles, but it also gives back. Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. Yes, we have high-quality certified diamonds that fit your budget. But did you know that when you say I do with an engagement ring from Bailey's, a donation is made to the food bank to help feed a local family of 4 for an entire month? Celebrate your love with Bailey's, where every diamond helps create a brighter future. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted the best place to buy your diamond.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Gold. Gold.
Was the hug because of the soft, fuzzy thing you're wearing?
It's a comment. I'm a great hugger. People like to hug me. But yes, it's helpful when I'm soft and fuzzy.
Is that a skill?
It may be, yes.
I think it is a skill.
I think it is a skill.
Yeah.
You know who else gives really great hugs? Mike Meniscalco.
Really?
He is one of my favorite huggers. Yes. Every time I see him, he gives the best hugs.
I'm going to try that at the next home game.
Do it.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. The Rangers were here not that long ago. We got a chance to see Sam Rosen here for the last time. Sam Rosen will do his last NHL game for the Rangers, I believe, tonight. Rangers, let's see if I can tell you who they're playing. Not that it really matters. I think they play the Lightning. Yes. The Lightning are in New York to take on the Rangers, and it'll be the final NHL broadcast, maybe the final broadcast, I'm going to imagine, of Sam Rosen's career. One of the all-time greats and an absolute gentleman. So he will kind of fade off into the hockey sunset. We'll talk a little bit next hour about Lee Corso, who is going to do his final college game day. The Hurricanes will be taking on the New Jersey Devils in the playoffs. We will talk about that, plus the arrival. We need flight tracker for Alexander Nikishin, who right now is somewhere, I believe, between Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and the United States. Corey Lavalette, North State Journal, and The Athletic joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Do you have FlightAware, Flight Tracker, Nikishin Flight Tracker loaded already into your replacement computer?
No, no. I think if we could wait, 3 years or whatever it's been since people have really been fired up about this, I think we can wait. We can wait another day or so.
So this is the question I got from people, and I answered, but you may know this better than I anyway, because Ivan Demidov played for the same team. And he's already played 2 games for Montreal. I watched them both. I thought he had some really good moments and some moments that would, I think would make coaches go, man, we got to be better than that. And that's understandable with young forwards who are, goal scoring first. Heck, it happens with older forwards. But the difference here is the fact that he was going directly to Canada. And Canada's got an embassy in Russia, whereas the United States right now does not. And he had to go to a country where we could kind of get an assist, a primary assist, and then come here. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, he couldn't get his Canadian visa until he got his American visa.
Right.
So the hope was, get your American visa in another country, which ended up apparently being Turkey, because he was in Istanbul. I know that.
Having ice cream.
Get your American visa there, then you can get your Canadian visa. So because they were playing in Canada, they needed that second visa for him to play in these last 2 games, and obviously that didn't come together in time. So that's the big thing is, for one, Demidov got a head start, right? He got released a little bit sooner. And then, like you said, he only had to get the Canadian visa to start. So once you get that, you can come over and you're good to go.
Right.
Nikishin had a lot more steps.
Yeah, and Demidov didn't have to leave the country because, again,
Right.
Canada has an embassy in Russia. All right, so what is the plan for Alexander Nikishin from where you would sit if you were making these decisions? Is it go play? There are 2 games tomorrow and Saturday for the Chicago Wolves. Would you send him? Because Derek Tulsky told me last Monday when a lot of things were signed and sealed, at least in terms of the contract, that if we couldn't get him in an NHL game, they would send him to Chicago to play. Does that seem like a good idea to have him play, if he could get here, tomorrow and or Saturday?
Tomorrow might be asking a bit much, I think, with
Right.
everything the kid's gone through. I say kid, but I mean, we're not talking about he's a kid to us, but we're not talking about an 18-year-old.
They're all kids to me, Corey.
Me too. Yeah.
The head coach is a kid to me. That hurts.
Yeah, so I mean, I think tomorrow might be. I mean, I guess you could do that, but it might be better to just give him another day, let him get acclimated, and maybe see if they can get him in that final Chicago Wolves game. Though, do you determine it's better for him to join the Hurricanes here and practice,
right?
And let the people who are going to really make the decisions get a look at you in person. With that said, Eric Tulsky basically said we need to, you can't win it. You can't not take someone's job away in practice is the way he put it. So can you take somebody's job away by playing in the AHL? I don't know. Maybe.
Who would be the candidate to sit if Alexander Nikishin drew into a playoff game?
It's a tough one, right? Because everybody you look at as a possibility gives you something that you want. Shane Gostisbehere runs your first power play. Now, the power play hasn't been great. So is that an option? But if you do that, who's running your first power play? Is Brent Burns running your first power play? Well, that hasn't gone so great either.
Or is Alexander Nikishin running your first power play?
Yeah, right. That might. And then, I think Dmitry Orlov comes up on a lot of people's radar. But I think playoff experience, Stanley Cup experience, physicality, all of those things. Now Nikishin brings the physicality and the size and all that. However, the experience, this is the NHL. We're talking a different animal here.
Right.
So there's that option. You look at Sean Walker. I think the way he moves and his versatility is really valuable. I don't think Jalen Chatfield's coming out of the lineup.
No.
I think he's been their second most consistent defenseman. And clearly, if Brent Burns isn't going to take a day off to get ready for the playoffs so he can keep his streak going, I don't think.
Right.
I just think even if Rod Brindamore determined he's the weakest link, the way Rod's career ended, I don't think he would do that to Brent Burns just out of respect. And that might be a blind spot for Rod Brindamore, but I think there's too many parallels there, right? With how Rod went out and what you would do if you scratch Brent Burns for the playoffs.
I do think, though, that if we were being honest, Brent Burns isn't also their sixth-ranked defenseman. Like, if we were ranking them 1 through 6, I don't think Brent Burns is 6. I also don't think Dmitry Orlov is 6. For me, I think ice time tells us enough. Orlov has been playing a lot of ice time. He's been getting a lot of ice time. And I do go back to the way he was playing in the playoffs last year. He and Chatfield were awesome in the playoffs. I do wonder, because I think that Orlov and Burns will be given every opportunity to, I'll use this term, play their way out of the lineup, as opposed to making any decisions based on the whims of a practice or the whims of fans who, like, I got this comment, 90% of the fans want Brent Burns gone. And I'm like, guess what? The head coach knows, I'm going to guess, more than 90% of the fans. I put myself in the same category, right? Like, I see a lot of good from Burns. I see a lot of bad from Burns. When he's not giving the puck away, though, I think he's been a net positive, even without his offense, because I think he's been good on the penalty kill.
He has been a good penalty killer, and that's a valuable role. I will say that this team has, Sean Walker's more than capable of killing penalties. I don't know that you throw Nikishin into that role right off the bat, but he's done that in the KHL, and done it a lot. But again, different animal. I think, it hasn't been a great year for Brent Burns, and there's a clear decline going on here, right? When you go from 60 to 40 to less than 30, or he may have hit 30 points now,
right?
29 points. There's a clear decline in his offensive output. But at that, at the same point, Shane Gostisbehere has the fewest points of any defenseman at 5-on-5, which, you think offensive defenseman, and that's a kind of a shocking thing to consider, is that, nobody has fewer points at even strength than Shane Gostisbehere does. So if you're worried about Burns' decline offensively, you also have to look at Shane Gostisbehere, and if the power play is not clicking, and it's at his best when he's good. However, if it's not clicking right now, what does Shane Gostisbehere bring to the lineup? I'm not saying he's a bad defender, but you've got a stud coming. You've got a guy that people in the organization told me 2 years ago could play in the top 4. So yeah, I mean, this is a tough one. You would love to get him weeks before the end of the season and see what you got.
As I have told as many people who care, if Nikishin were to draw in, to your not you, but their chagrin, it would not be at the expense of Burns. If they just put him in the lineup, it would be the expense of somebody else. All right, so we know for the most part, probably 11, maybe 10 of the forwards who are going to play in Game 1. There's no chance that Andrei Svechnikov isn't going to be in the Game 1 lineup. But has Andre played his way into a potential decision if it doesn't turn?
I don't think so. I mean, no, I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
There's too of a physicality element there, size element, and you lost Mikko Rantanen and you added Logan Stankoven. Stankoven plays a lot bigger than he is, but he is not 5'8".
No, I'm with you. It's funny. They mentioned it. They mentioned 5'8" yesterday. I'm like, did I just grow? I just got taller, Corey.
So, I mean, I think you need that size, and I never thought of Taylor Hall as a small player, but getting to spend time with him in person, I never realized how big he is. So he's a big body you added. Yeah, his hands are huge. He's got gigantic hands. So, I mean, I don't see that happening. I think, you look at Jack Roslovic, I think he's more in danger than Svechnikov of not playing.
Like I said, there's no chance that Andrei's not playing early in the season. He would have to play his way out of, into danger. And at this point, we kind of are just hoping that Andre will find some consistent element of his game. I thought he played a good first period last night, and I didn't like the rest of it. I love Taylor Hall for 60 minutes. I wish I had loved Andre like I loved Taylor Hall for 60 minutes. I thought, yesterday? Kat?
No, I was just going to say, the thing on Svechnikov is you can kind of feel the frustration with him, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just in his play. It's that the kid never gets a call. Like, he got tripped a couple games back, and there was a photo on the wire, and he's laying on his stomach after he got tripped, and he's got a huge smile on his face because he's looking at the ref like, you have to be kidding me. And so I think it all compounds for him, which is the hard part. Is, all right, you're struggling offensively, you're trying to do too much, and then I don't want to say the refs are out to get him, but it just seems like the dude cannot get a call ever, either way. And I think there's the potential of a switch going off, right? If he scores a goal, if he makes a big hit,
that's what they're hoping for.
There's a chance that it all turns around, and you can't just eliminate him from the lineup and think you're going to go to the Stanley Cup final without him. You can't. You need him.
I agree, 100% agree. The best they can be involves Andrei Svechnikov. There's no doubt about that. I have loved Tyson Jost, but he is going to be the first healthy scratch. I agree. I think Jack Roslovic will be the next healthy scratch. Didn't yesterday, and I haven't seen what they're going to do tonight, but didn't yesterday tell us, and I didn't have this on my bingo card at the beginning of the season, and I have been very pro Jackson Blake, but when Jackson Blake is held out of the final game of the final maybe 2 games of the regular season, and he is put into the category of we can't afford to lose, my eyes just go wide open. I thought Blake would play last night, and I thought they would scratch some other player, and maybe he'll play tonight. But Aho, Jarvis, Blake, Martinook, Stahl. To me, Rod Brindamore is telling you these are the 5 forwards we cannot afford to lose going forward.
And look what happened in Dallas last night. I mean, Jason Robertson
I know.
gets hurt, and he walks out of the building in a knee brace. And, the Hurricanes have had this happen in Game 82. Obviously
Jesper Foss
Jesper
last year.
Foss.
Yeah.
And then two years ago, Jacob Slavin gets hurt in the last game of the year. And, I think you're right. I mean, he's become an invaluable piece, and I'm really curious to see how. I don't think it'll be as big of an issue with New Jersey, but if the Hurricanes move on, how that top line can handle, a team like Washington, or if we go further, a Buffalo. I mean, a Buffalo. Geez,
Wait a second. What did I miss?
a Florida.
Yeah.
So, I'll be interested to see how that all comes together. It's a small line, but as Rod Brindamore told me, so is Tampa's top line. I mean,
Yeah.
Kucherov, Point, and Gensel, are not big guys either. You can win with a small best line, but I do want to see how it pans out. I think all those guys play bigger than they are, but they're still not big.
That's true. I was struck by. I think Jackson Blake is just strength. I think he's tall enough. He's 5'11", and my initial thought was he's not 5'11", but I mean, I saw him. I mean, I think he's taller than Jarvis, and I think Jarvis is a legit 6'10". 6'10". Never mind, not 6'10", 5'10".
6'10".
If he was 6'10", he would be. I mean, he's already amazing. Would it be fair, real quick, Corey Levitt, North State Journal and The Athletic, would it be fair to say that Seth Jarvis is their best forward?
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I don't think Sebastian Aho has had a particularly great year. He padded his stats a lot in the beginning of the year on the power play. But since this line has come together, he's been much, much better. And I think that's scary for other teams, is now all of a sudden you have a top line with 2 guys that I think are, right on the tip of that superstar status. But Seth Jarvis, I think, is continues to grow into, and you saw Team Canada picked him for 4 Nations
over Nick Suzuki.
There's a reason that happened, because everyone's kind of seeing, even though he's a little in the shadows here in Raleigh. What a player! I mean, just a fantastic, and their little power kill that they got going is something else. And they both need to help get the power play going. That's the big thing.
That is true. No doubt about it. Corey Lavalette, North State Journal and The Athletic, at Corey Lav on Twitter. I appreciate your time, sir. Get on. I need the exact coordinates for where the Nikishin plane is.
He's in Buffalo, just like everything else.
Thanks, man. Take care. Corey Lavalette.
Sure thing.
I'll talk to you later. Man. All right. So Nikishin not going to draw. We all know this. He's not going to draw in. And again, it wouldn't be at the expense of Burns or Orlov, who have played better than the fan. The problem is that Carolina doesn't have an ideal pair for Jacob Slavin that isn't named Brent Burns. That's just the reality of it. Burns is the best suited. If they wanted to provide a shutdown defensive pair, they could put Chatfield up there. But even last year, when they had Brett Pesce under their employ, they didn't put Slavin and Pesce together all that often. They just threw Brady Shea out there with them. Anyway, should be playoff start in a couple. We didn't even talk about the Devils. Maybe that was my mistake. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow, since we'll have the entire playoff schedule all set. We are going to do some extra Devils stuff tomorrow. I have something planned. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and one-timers are next.
From the heels,
touchdown Carolina,
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the NBA play-in tournament is almost upon us, and FanDuel is giving all new customers a chance at $250 in bonus bets. Join today. Place your first $5 wager. If that wins, $250 of their money belongs to you. Three-pointers, steals, assists, whatever. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS for the NBA Play-In Tournament. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
70 years ago, PBS North Carolina began its journey, and you, North Carolina, have been with us every step of the way. From the adventures of Mr. Rogers to the mysteries of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, you've inspired us to keep going. Thanks to you, we've been able to expand beyond TV, touching lives in classrooms and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. As I predicted, we never get to one-timers before 12:50. Next hour, Sarah Sivian from the Civ Report. She covers hockey. Also, Too Many Men, the podcast, which is also a fun listen if you are a hockey fan. And I assume that all of you are hockey fans. Right now, one-timers.
Okay, so looking to our YouTube stream, you can put them there or tweet at either one of us, feed to the underscore, whatever. Victoria. So first up, Levi, he wants you to give the 3 stars from the Canes call-ups from last night.
Well, two of them got my Well, one got player of the game. I gave Dom Fensor player of the game, but Bradley Nadeau got my third star.
He was so good.
Third star. From the call ups yesterday, I can't give 3 stars. I can give 2. Fensor and Nadeau were legitimately good. Skyler struggled in the first period. I want to see him play again today. I'm sure last night wore him out emotionally, right? And Riley Stillman didn't play very well. So, those are the call-ups yesterday.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Matthew. He wants to know, he said Nikishin is on his way to North Carolina. Yes, he is, Matthew. And may he possibly play tonight against Ottawa?
No, because unless Ottawa is in do we have an Ottawa, North Carolina?
Not that I'm aware.
No. Can't work in Canada. He does not have a Canadian visa yet. So he can't work in Canada. So, and I doubt he's even going to be here by game time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
He left, if he left Saudi Arabia, it's only a little bit ago.
Yeah. Well, this one from, it's always fun to say his name, Conbread, wants to know, long term, what do you think the plan is for Nadeau?
I don't know. He's going to have to get better in his own end. He could have done something to make it easier for Kochetkov on the third goal, and he sometimes wanders defensively. So, but he certainly has an offensive gift. So let's hope the rest of the game gets to a point where they can live with mistakes, like they do with Andre, by the way. They live with Andre mistakes, and like they did with Natchez for a long time. But I love his offense.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Cool people, good time. America's favorite car show is back. The Good Guys 10th Griot's Garage North Carolina Nationals presented by Trimmett. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds in Raleigh. Cruise on out and see over 1,500 of the Southeast's finest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Autocross racing, a Saturday night demolition derby, vendor midway, live entertainment, and more. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. Details at good-guys.com.
You've been to all those fancy driving range experiences, but you need closer to the real thing. Adam Gold here. What you need is X Golf in Cary. High-end simulator play. Food, drinks, fun, maybe even a date night, even serious competition. Buddy of mine plays in a league there, and he loves it. Memberships are available, all levels of player, all ages. North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience, and there is a PGA professional on site. Online, playxgolf.com/Cary. playxgolf.com/Cary.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things home ownership. Rocket. Own the dream.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
What do I think as we sit here Wednesday, April 16th, news break, story starts last Thursday night, Friday morning he skips, Saturday morning they're moving on. As I sit here now, I'm sad. I am sad because someone who is clearly talented is now facing the kind of path. I guess you go to a G5 program, just try and be as productive as you can just to make it to the NFL. It truly is not trying to cherish the high-level college football experience that his talent could have allowed him to have, and it's because they were chasing all the things, on the outside.
It's Chip Patterson from yesterday. We're talking about Nico Iamaleava.
You got it.
I did. Yeah, I've been working on it. I worked on it the entire ride in.
You're practicing.
I said it like 60 times. So he's in the transfer portal. He had a $2.4 million annual deal with Tennessee. The deal was originally supposed to be worth as much as $10 million with Tennessee.
Wow.
Seriously. I read that and went, wow, that's amazing. But he apparently decided he wanted more money, held out from the end of spring training, if you will call it just that, spring practices. And then before Tennessee's spring game or whatever it is they had, it was like not coming. And Josh Heupel went, smell you later. Which absolutely Tennessee's prerogative. I don't begrudge them that at all. I have a hard time being mad at the player either. But he's obviously getting bad advice. To tell him to hold out is just crazy. But it does look like the most likely spot is UCLA. And that's a high-profile spot. He's from California. His younger brother was a commit to UCLA. I don't think he's a quarterback. I think he's a defensive player. And ended up withdrawing from his commitment and signed with Arkansas. But Iamaleava is going to end up, I think, at UCLA for a fraction of the money.
Wow.
So UCLA, which does not have, $2.4 million burning a hole in their collective pocket, has said, hey, we'd love for you to play here. Here's what we have to offer you. If you are willing to play and accept this, then we've got a spot. And if the answer is no, because I demand more, well, then we don't have a spot. And there you go. We'll see what happens with that. But right now, not terrible.
Yeah.
If in fact that's where he goes. Because I talked to Chip yesterday about how do you repair your image? The way you repair your image is playing well, and acting like an adult.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you repair your image. Nothing will get people to forget what just happened like a guy who plays well. Flat out. I mean, especially UCLA fans would love to have a quarterback of his ilk play well. I don't know if he's a legit NFL prospect or not, but he is pretty doggone close to a legit prospect. So, for me, that's what I would do. If that is how he repairs his image. By the way, we are seconds away, I think, from getting the official playoff. We have it?
Yes.
Okay, so I know the first two.
Yes.
Right.
So
Sunday at 3.
Okay, well, that was the news.
Okay, we don't.
That's the breaking news.
They haven't sent the second one out yet?
All we know is
the first one.
All I was told was, game
Easter
1
Sunday
at 3. Mm-hmm.
I have been asked to embargo the only other game I know.
Yeah.
But it is going to be in Raleigh, an every other day event. Okay? Now, what I don't understand, I know why they're doing it. Apparently, I don't know who the first game is going to be on Sunday. I don't know if that's going to be Florida, Tampa, or not. If it were me and I was ESPN, I'd want that series because those are the last 5 Eastern Conference champions. Tampa, 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 Florida, Florida. Those are the last 5 of them. And that's, for my money, that's exactly what I would want. I thought that Carolina made logical sense to start Monday because you can keep it every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Sunday for New Jersey because they have a concert at Prudential Center on the back end. I think it's on Saturday. All right, here's the series. It's Sunday at 3, Tuesday at 6 at Lenovo Center. That's right, a 6 p.m. start on Tuesday at Lenovo. Friday, 8 o'clock in New Jersey. Sunday at 3:30 in New Jersey. And then we don't know the times for these games. Tuesday in Raleigh, Friday in New Jersey, Sunday for a potential Game 7. Again, times for Games 5, 6, and 7 are not yet set because they will depend entirely on series that either end early or we have dramatic moments. So, Game 1, Sunday, 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Game 2, Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Odd time, earlier start time. Mm-hmm. My guess is Dallas, Colorado. Would it be Dallas, Colorado?
Well, let's see, you could get some more sleep, too. They're trying to be considerate of you in the podcast afterward.
That's a very good point.
Right?
It's a very good point. Of course, it only gives me, 2 hours from the end of this show to the start of the Stormwatch, because the Stormwatch will be an hour long. Stormwatch is our local pregame show for those people listening in Asheville, Flat Rock, Blowing Rock.
All the rocks.
Something Rock. And again, games 3 and 4, Friday and Sunday. So there's 2 days in between games 2 and 3 in the opening round series. And just like last year, Carolina has a night game, day off, and then a day game. And Rod Brindamore probably should have used Pyotr Kochetkov in Game 4 of the series against the Islanders last year, but he did not. But that's another. We'll litigate that at another time. I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned that Sam Rosen is going to do his last Rangers game tonight. Lee Corso's last college game day will be on the Saturday, the college game day of opening weekend of college football for ESPN. On August 7th, Lee Corso will turn 90. So there's no doubt, almost 40 years at ESPN. And by the way, Lee Corso once was the keynote speaker in one of our Evening of Champions events to celebrate high school athletics, local sports. And Lee Corso is one of the nicest, most genuine, friendly people you will ever meet. And he has obviously had health issues of late. And the man is an absolute legend at ESPN. He doesn't quite occupy the same space as Dick Vitale does, but in a college football realm, it's not that much of a separation. He is an institution at ESPN. The wearing of the mascot heads for when they make their pick for whatever game they are on site for. Like, everybody hangs on that. And it ends on the first Saturday, the first college game day of the season. And for a lot of people, that is sad, and I'm with you. It'd be sad to watch Lee Corso go. No doubt about that. All right, to some other football matters. So I saw this story, and I found it to be somewhat amusing. I saw the story at ProFootballTalk.com. And they aggregate, so it obviously came from somewhere else, whether it's a local paper, news source, or whatever. But the Steelers, and this comes basically on the back of a lot of mock drafts that have Shedeur Sanders slipping out of the top 10, quarterback of Colorado, Deion Sanders' son, who at one point was thought to be maybe even the first pick in the draft. It's a slam dunk. It's going to be Cam Ward now. Travis Hunter, the cornerback wide receiver, is going to end up going too. And then there are a number of teams, and Shedeur Sanders had private meetings with the Giants. I think he's going to have a private workout if he hasn't already done that with the Giants. They theoretically could take him at number 3 because they do need a quarterback. Although they have Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson right now, don't they? The Giants? I think they do. Woof. But if Sanders gets past the Saints at 9, there's no telling how far he drops. He may end up all the way to where the Steelers pick, which I think is like, is it 18 or something like that? It's obviously in the second half of the draft. So here's the dilemma, as if this is a dilemma that the Steelers have. Do you sign Aaron Rodgers, or do you draft a quarterback? Now, there are two answers to this question. The first answer is, well, I'll tell you what. Well, I'll say what I thought, what I think, and then I'll have somebody back me up on this.
Okay.
I didn't know that that's what this guy was going to talk about.
The Steelers are also the 21st.
21st
yes.
pick in the draft. If he falls all the way to 21. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, fell to 24. That would be somewhat delicious. Anyway, what I thought was this. But my first answer is, maybe you shouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you should have signed another quarterback instead of Aaron Rodgers, because you are a team that is thought to be built to win today. That's why you would sign Aaron Rodgers. Plug him into your team, therefore you will be good. It did not work for the Jets at all. And I know what people, they were poorly coached, blah, blah, blah. Aaron Rodgers was as much the problem as anybody else. Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good. At times he looked great. No joke. At times you went, oh, yeah, that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, just wasn't consistent.
No. And then at times like, gosh, you never see Aaron Rodgers miss that receiver. But he did. He's just not the same guy. So if I were the Steelers and I was a quarterback away from being a legitimate contender, and I'm not sure they are anyway, but if that was where I thought I was, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be the guy I would be interested in. Honestly, Sam Darnold would have been a better option. Geno Smith would have been a better option. Heck, I'm not sure Justin Fields isn't a better option. But this is where they are. Mason Rudolph isn't an option. He is a backup. He's probably a third string at this point. So the real answer is you already blew it. But the answer is is it a dilemma? Should be, no, it's not a dilemma. You do both at this point. If you are going to sign Aaron Rodgers, that should not preclude you from going after a quarterback of the future. If you believe that Shedeur Sanders can be that, I'm not advocating for it. Or if you believe Jackson Dart could be that. Or if you believe anybody, any of the quarterbacks that might get drafted in the first round, and who knows who they are. If you believe you have identified a quarterback that can be your quarterback of the future, the presence of Aaron Rodgers should mean absolutely nothing to you. It would be better, in my view anyway, for the quarterback to not have to play anyway. Of course, with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he could get hurt. He could break a hip. He's an old man at this point. He could fall down. He might not have his life alert on. And then what happens?
Right.
He's laying on the floor of the shower because he can't reach the handles.
Nope. It's done.
It would not preclude me if I were the Steelers. If I was going to sign Aaron Rodgers, I'd still be looking for a quarterback of the future. Make no mistake, the reason why the Steelers are in the position that they're in, having not won a playoff game for a long time, is because they haven't had good quarterback play for a long time. And that stretches all the way back to the last couple of years of Ben Roethlisberger, because by the time they got to the playoffs, Ben was broken and no longer good. So the Steelers, like every other team, need good quarterback play. Heck, they might even be better suited, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, to going out and trading for Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I feel dirty. All right, when we come back, Sarah Sivian from Too Many Men, the podcast, as well as the Civ Report on hockey. We will talk about the Canes and the playoffs and the East next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save it, rebound. Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA play-in tournament is ongoing. I was 0 for 2 yesterday. I apologize. Let's try to get ahead of all of it. Tomorrow, you've got the Heat at the Hawks. Winner stays in the playoffs at the 8th seed. Dallas is in Memphis. Same thing there. 8th seed goes to the winner. I like Miami on the road, and I like the Grizzlies at home. Maybe you do the opposite. I don't know. FanDuel wants to give you $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AdamGold to get in on all the action. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom-installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. Sarah Sivian will join us in just a little bit. We will preview we'll probably talk all playoffs, but I know she wrote a bandwagoner's guide to the East on the Civ Report, so we will hit that. If you are just tuning in, the Hurricanes' first-round schedule has been released, at least as much of it as they could possibly release, because we won't have game times for games 5, 6, and 7, because, A, we don't know if there will be a game 5, 6, or 7, and because it's this television schedule is dependent on everything else, we don't have times for those games either. But Game 1, Sunday at Lenovo Center at 3:30. Game 2, Tuesday night at Lenovo at 6. Games 3 and 4 are in New Jersey at 8 o'clock on Friday night and 3:30 on Sunday. And there's the schedule. Game 5 would be back here on Tuesday. Game 6, if necessary, Friday in New Jersey, and then Game 7 on Sunday in Raleigh. So the travel to New Jersey from North Carolina gets you an extra day. I don't know if there's a time difference, but it gets you an extra day. There's 2 days off in between games 2 and 3, and in between games 5 and 6. Sarah Sivian, the Civ Report on Substack, Bleacher Report, Bet Rivers. Tell you what, Victoria, can we get? I want to get the a reverb in my headphones. So can we redo that? It makes it a lot better, a lot easier for everybody included. Otherwise, we're all going to hear it back and forth. We don't. And by the way, that would be cool. It worked for T-Pain. The auto-tune worked for T-Pain for his entire career. So we'll get that squared away so we can enjoy. Everybody can enjoy the conversation. But that's Carolina's schedule to start the playoffs. We know that I believe it's Winnipeg and Minnesota will start in the Western Conference Saturday, followed by Colorado and Dallas, which to me that's going to be the slam dunk, premier series in the U.S. You've got a team that won the Stanley Cup a couple of years ago And I think the betting favorite, in spite of the Jason Robertson injury for the Stars yesterday, to me, the betting favorite is the Dallas Stars. If I was thinking about futures, hey, look, Carolina's no longer an enormous favorite. I know when they initially made all these trades, they were still among the favorites, but we have seen a month and a half of hockey since, and it hasn't been quite the smooth ride. So Carolina's kind of slipped down the board. They're still one of the top 4 or 5 picks in the East, but I've said from the very beginning that I didn't think they were a tier 1 cup contender. I haven't moved off of that. There are a lot of scenarios where Carolina makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and when you get there, you take your shot, right? And I think Carolina is more than capable of winning 2 series and getting to the conference finals. And whether it's Toronto or Florida or Tampa or, heck, Ottawa, I mean, I think Carolina can win a series, but I don't think they'll be favored over either of the teams from Florida, and probably won't be favored over the Maple Leafs, especially after Toronto came here on this past Sunday, and really I thought they were the better team. At first period, Carolina was better, and then the Maple Leafs got the goal late and ultimately won it. And I think the real reason why Carolina isn't thought of more highly is an obvious one, because ESPN put out a list of basically, I forget exactly how it was titled, but what your team, your playoff team, should be concerned about, and they did not split the atom here. The answer is goaltending. Carolina's goaltending is the question mark. We haven't seen a good performance. We really haven't seen a great performance out of either goalie in a while. Frederik Andersen's last 3 starts haven't been great at all. The start in Boston, which started the slide, was bad. The other 2 were spotty. I mean, I think in the right situation, Carolina could get away with it, but the game against Washington was not good enough. I thought he was better in which was the other game. I think he played against, was it Washington he played against? The second game was in Washington. That was not as good. The start against Washington before that was excellent. So this is a big start, I guess, for Freddie, although I wouldn't start him tonight. I'd bring up a different goalie, but I don't think they're doing that, because Andersen is going to have to be the game 1 starter. And even though he's not playing great, I have more confidence that Andersen will be good in the playoffs. It's hard to have that confidence in Pyotr Kochetkov at this stage. We're good? We figured it out. She is Sarah Sivian. Bleacher Report. Bet Rivers, that's a new one. I hadn't seen that. Too Many Men, the podcast. Great. With Allison and Shayna. Tell them we said hi. And, of course, the Civ Report on Substack. How you doing?
Adam, I'm great. I was just making sure you milked the graphic with my Substack name in the bottom, so we're good now.
Excellent. And we got it. We have everything. We have Sarah Sivian with us. All right, you just wrote about the bandwagon, a bandwagon guide to the Eastern Conference. Give me the bandwagon. You're on the bandwagon anyway. You're a permanent driver on our bandwagon. So give me your bandwagon for Carolina.
What do you mean? Like, why should you root for them?
Yes.
I think because they are the most capable team that people aren't favoriting, if that makes sense. Like you can say "I told you so" and it would still feel good, and you have the highest chance of saying "I told you so."
Look, they're pretty big favorites over the Devils. I don't see a lot of difference. Yeah, like the Devils are like plus 260 in the series. Carolina's minus 210, and that to me is a pretty stout favorite. And
I feel like with Jacob Markstrom, they're being underestimated just a little bit, because it takes one hot streak from an elite goalie like that to win a series. So you can't just totally disregard them, but you don't have Jack Hughes. None of the pieces are in place.
Well, that is true. They are without Jack Hughes, but I love so many pieces on that team, and maybe I'm still in the beginning of the season when I looked at the Devils roster and I saw, man, they might have the best roster in the Metropolitan Division. And, I mean, did they get to 90 points? I'm stunned That first of all, I'm stunned that point level made the playoffs, because in the West that was not good enough. Is the East that bad?
Yes. I feel like the West is top heavy, but at the same time, you get the St. Louis Blues going on a run, and then they deserve it.
Yeah.
And you have the Flames and the Wild, I guess, at that point, duking it out, where they would all be in if they were in the East. So, yeah, I think the East has a lot of teams that were trying not to make it.
Oh, yeah, and succeeding. Congratulations to the Rangers. You did everything you could to not make the playoffs. And succeeded. I felt bad for Peter Laviolette, who had no answers at all by the end of the season for them. Let me just flip over to the Atlantic Division for a second, because for my mind, I've said this all year, I think the two best teams are both in the state of Florida. I love Tampa. I think Tampa, if I had to pick right now, I'd pick Tampa to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. And they play. Tampa and Florida will go at each other in the first round. To me, we have the two best teams in each conference playing in the first round of the playoffs. Of course, I'm not very smart, so I could be wrong. But what do you think about the Atlantic Division and how it's stacked up right now?
Yeah, it's absolute madness that we get the Battle of Florida in the first round. And you look at the team like the Lightning, they had the hardest schedule of the regular NHL season for the first half, and it showed. But that first line is one of the most dominant we have in the playoffs right now. Gensel's coming in hot as ever.
Yeah.
And you look at what Vasilevsky was able to do in the second half. After the Four Nations, he had like a .930 save percentage. It was just, when he turns it on, you see how immediately the rest of the team is able to fall in line. You got the good vibes with Brandon Hagel. It's absolutely terrifying when you're coached by John Cooper too. So it's good for the Canes that those teams are going to eat each other alive in the first round.
Yeah. Who do you like in that series?
It's tough. I mean, I think it's going to be just some of the best hockey we've ever seen. You'd be a fool to count out the Panthers, even though they're coming in as cool as ever. But you worry about maybe you don't see the chemistry between Marchand and Tkachuk quite yet because they haven't been able to play together. So you wonder about that. You wonder if it's too many changes, and you see, I mean, you look at a team like the Predators who made too many changes and weren't able to gel together. But you got a veteran like Marchand. But then on the other hand, you've got this team that couldn't be hotter in the Lightning. It's impossible to call.
Oh, it is a very difficult series. Again, I think as great as Bobrovsky is, I give an edge to Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Although against Carolina this year, he has allowed 2 goals that I can't believe he allowed. Like the one goal he allowed to Svechnikov was maybe the worst goal that he's ever allowed in his entire career. And I'll give Seth Jarvis credit for an incredible shot coming in off the left side in a game here that stunned all of us. I still think it's the goal of the year. If you want to go check it out, Jarvis against Tampa here by like 4 weeks ago. It was an unbelievable goal. Carolina played great in that game. Toronto probably feels like they should be the favorite, but why do I worry about them against Ottawa in the first round of the playoffs?
Can we name one team we wouldn't have worried about them against? It's just they need to get past the first round. It's so much more than what the team actually is. It's the vibe around the team. But they're better at 5-on-5 than they have been in years. The supporting cast around the core four, their stats have been better than any Leafs team since 2017, 2018. Matthew Nyes, Bobby McMahon, also his name McMahon. Come on, that's the man. I like the vibes there. The goaltending tandem, I think their strength headed into this playoffs is they're one of the few teams that have a really strong tandem and options to go through in net. And they never had that in the past. So they've got a lot of different things working for them right now.
Yeah, I wish both about 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer, Carolina's goaltending tandem was through the roof, and they won 12 of 14. Now it's through the ceiling, through the floor, and Carolina's struggled. They have won just 1 of their last 7. A lot of that is because goaltending has not been great. Sarah Sivian, the Civ Report, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Montreal looked to me, even last night, they played a good first period. I thought Carolina was way better in the second period. Montreal got the 2 goals late in the period and ultimately won the game. Montreal, to me, looked like a team that was looking for the finish line. But, boy, they look like they could be a ton of fun in the playoffs. Like, I'm happy to play them in the second round if Carolina and Montreal each win. And I do think I would pick Montreal over Washington in the first round.
I like that take. That's a bold take that is understandable because I know a lot of people think the Capitals are a fluke. I don't. I worry about Logan Thompson's health because he's been a huge help in net there. And I worry about Protas, who was one of the best players they have. And he balances out the roster. So I think that's a good upset take to have. And then you have the never say die Habs, who have more third period come from behind wins than anybody in the league this year. And it was like, you thought they were out and they just kept going. So I think that's hope is a dangerous thing, as they say, but I'm saying it wrong in that context, but I don't care. I think they have a great chance. You got Patrick Laine on a fourth line. Come on now. You got Lane Hudson. I think he's going to grow into be one of the best defensemen in the league by next year. I just think he's been such a good puck mover and such a completely changing the complexion of this team. Nick Suzuki has stepped up in an awesome way as captain. You know Cole Caulfield's playing for Johnny Gaudreau, and there's just the vibiest team, I think.
Yeah, they are fun to watch. Ivan Demidov doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Come on.
I mean, they have so much talent offensively, and as I was talking to Trip Tracy before the game last night, they have the ability to grind too. You know, a lot of teams don't have both. They've got both. They've got high skill, and they've got that ability. You know, the Brendan Gallagher influence in that team is very real, and they've got some sandpaper on the back. So, I mean, with Matheson and Savard, I think they have enough. I know Washington is not only really good, but they are big. But I think they can be skated, and I think that's why I don't hate a Carolina-Washington matchup. But and I think Montreal can do the same thing to them. What is Sarah Sivian is joining us, the Civ Report on Substack. Get it. What do you think the impact is of Jason Robertson's injury in the Dallas Stars? That's a big deal.
I mean, what are they on a 7-game losing streak? You see, that's the perils of a team like the Dallas Stars, who are so well structured, but it's kind of like the sum of its parts. They need every single guy, and especially Jason Robertson with one of the best offensive showings of his career. It's such a shame when something like that happens to a player. And then you got Heiskanen on the back end too, injured. It's a really tough blow that two of their high-end talented players, where they don't have many of those, are out right now. And you look at the first round with them, it's a scary, scary prospect. So they might be out early, and I don't know. It's just, there's one of those teams that's like they're perfectly constructed, and people get mad at you, but I think they're perfectly constructed for the regular season, but they don't have that elevation player unless Wyatt Johnston comes in and decides he's that this postseason. So I guess we'll see. But Jason Robertson kind of is their Sebastian Aho to me, just holding everything together, where you might need more than him, but you definitely need him.
Well, no question about it. I watched the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, 2 weeks ago, and I was just floored that they allowed the Penguins to dictate the third period in Dallas the way they did after Dallas had taken a 3-2 lead.
Yeah. They don't have that it factor to me. They can't really take over a game in that way, and that's kind of their grind set, I guess, is what their strength is. But you look at a team like Montreal, for instance, and they seem to be able to turn it on in the third period. The Stars, it's like time runs out on them.
All right, before we let Sarah Sivian go, the Civ Report, also Too Many Men, the podcast. Tell me, who is the breakout, maybe one or two breakout stars of the playoffs that you could see?
Has Seth Jarvis already broken out?
Yes.
What are we going to say? Yes,
well,
I think
he
so.
certainly has here, and he certainly did to Hockey Canada. So I'll be here for that.
Yes, you're right. I'm going to say Wyatt Johnston. I think that he will have a signature playoff right now, and you'll be able to see why the Stars refuse to give him to the Hurricanes. And who else? Oh, that's definitely think about every.
I know there are people
team
here that want you to say Martin Necas.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to go Lane Hudson, because I've been watching him a lot recently.
Yeah.
And I think even if the Habs don't go past the first round, he was so seamlessly entered this league, and I think the playoffs are going to be like an elevation moment for him.
Yeah, he's absolutely dynamite. You have Dallas beating Colorado or the other way?
Other way.
Okay.
I think the Avs have, after their whole goaltending fiasco, they turned it on. You got Cale Makar, you've got Nathan McKinnon, you got Martin Necas. I feel like it's impossible to get by them.
They have Jack Drury.
Yeah.
All right,
Come
so
on.
out of the West, who?
I have to go Golden Knights. I just think Jack Eichel's having a great season. Mark Stone's Mark Stone. Hurtle, oh God, I always pronounce his name wrong. Tomas Hurtel has really elevated his game and has really like sunk in more than he had last season. And I just feel like nobody talks about them because they're so consistent.
Right.
But I think they're coming out of the West.
And in the East?
Oh, Tim. Oh, no. Toronto Maple Leafs. I just think it's time. I think they're different, and I think the forecourt is last time to do it. I like the prospect of a goaltending tandem right now. A trick up your sleeve.
That will break Maple Leafs Twitter. It'd be the greatest thing that ever happened to the Canadian hockey media to go back and forth between Toronto and Vegas.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens.
It's gonna break somebody's bank account. I know that. Sarah Sivian at Sarah Sivian on Twitter. The Civ Report on Substack. Too Many Men, the podcast. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Sarah Sivian here on the Adam Gold Show. I did not expect to hear Toronto. I really did not. I expected to hear one of the Florida teams, but the defending Stanley Cup champion has not done well in the first round of the playoffs since it was Tampa. Now, Tampa did well twice because they made it to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals. But we saw Washington, and they win it in 18, lose to the Hurricanes in 19, right? It has been a difficult run for the Stanley Cup champions. I do like a lot. I do like Tampa to come out of the East, and I do like Colorado in the West. But that's a tough first series, man. That's a tough first wager to make as well. And speaking of those, we will stretch and we will place bets next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents
statements do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
70 years ago, PBS North Carolina began its journey, and you, North Carolina, have been with us every step of the way. From the adventures of Mr. Rogers to the mysteries of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, you've inspired us to keep going. Thanks to you, we've been able to expand beyond TV, touching lives in classrooms and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit, investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Are you living your best life? Do you know AARP North Carolina is working to make communities great for all ages? Help workers find easier ways to save, improve healthcare quality and access, and to protect important programs like Social Security and Medicare. Learn more about all that AARP is doing to help people of all ages by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and caused chaos.
Hey, hashtag, you didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause
I know, we
chaos.
need to go back to causing chaos.
This is interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Before we stretch and wager, one correction, and then I want to give you the first handful of days of the NHL's round one playoff schedule. Odd here. Normally the NHL doesn't stretch out the first round, but they're going to this year. It's usually a much more swiftly played set of games than the NBA's opening round of the playoffs, which has just tons of time off. So we're going to start with two games on Saturday. I incorrectly had it as Winnipeg, Minnesota. It's Winnipeg, St. Louis. St. Louis ended up being wild card 2, Minnesota wild card 1. So that is a 6 o'clock game Saturday evening. Winnipeg hosting has home ice advantage. They are the President's Trophy winners, by the way. So Winnipeg, St. Louis, 6 o'clock Saturday evening. Colorado at Dallas. That series opens at 8:30. Those games are on TNT or whatever, whether you watch it on True TV or Max, I don't know. But they're on TNT. Sunday, there are 4 games. Happy Easter. I'm sorry, 3 games, not 4. Initially, there were supposed to be 4. 3 games on Sunday. Devils and Hurricanes at 3. These games are all on ESPN. Devils and Hurricanes at 3. And by the way, every game for the Hurricanes in the opening round is also available on FanDuel TV. So you can watch Mike and Trip. That's normal. First round is not national exclusive. They are all available for both. They don't exclude the local television, so you can watch your favorite team. And in this case, your favorite team is the Hurricanes. Devils-Hurricanes game 1, 3 o'clock in Raleigh on Sunday. Senators-Maple Leafs game 1 at 7. Wild Golden Knights at 10 o'clock. Again, those games are all on ESPN. Monday, three series start, and we have a game 2. Canadiens and Capitals at 7. Blues and Jets, Game 2 at 7:30. Avalanche and Stars, Game 2 at 9:30. Oilers and Kings, Game 1 at 10 o'clock. All those games are on either ESPN or ESPN2.
It's exciting.
Tuesday, you notice I haven't mentioned a Game 1 yet for Florida-Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Florida-Tampa does not begin until Tuesday.
Wow. They're late to the party.
Yes, the Hurricanes will actually, and Hurricanes and Devils will actually have played twice before the Panthers and Lightning play Game 1.
Interesting.
Devils, Hurricanes, Game 2, Tuesday at 6. Senators and Maple Leafs will play at 7:30. Panthers and Lightning at 8:30. I guess they're assuming that the Devils and Hurricanes will not play overtime in Game 2. Interesting. Not to mention that game's going to go longer. It's not going to drop the puck at 6 o'clock. It's going to drop the puck at probably close to 6:10. And I would be stunned if a Stanley Cup playoff game is over in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I'll just say this right now. Panthers Lightning, if you want to watch, that game will begin on ESPN News, and we'll catch up. We'll switch it over when the Devils and Hurricanes are done with the third overtime. Game 2, Wild and Golden Knights, 11 o'clock on ESPN. All those games on Tuesday are on ESPN. So those are the first 4 days. The entire schedule is now available on NHL.com. Gives you the networks that they're on. In response to a Tuesday 6 o'clock game, I got this response. ESPN has been so bad for the NHL. I get it. We all lash out at times. ESPN is really never bad for a sport that it broadcasts. It just isn't. It's still the biggest mouthpiece that we've got. They don't disrespect the NHL at all. Now, you might not like the broadcasts. You might not like the talent that they use. I'm not going to get into that debate. You could say that TNT's studio show is better. I agree with you. I think they do it better. But ESPN covering the National Hockey League, you ask Gary Bettman if he's happy to be on ESPN or not. We'll leave it right there. Time to stretch.
Well, it might also be burger time because if you're a Red Robin fan, well, it is kind of
They have
lunchtime.
unlimited fries, do they not?
Yes, but now, because May is National Burger Month.
Is it really?
Didn't realize that, but they are trying to capitalize on it by giving you bottomless burgers.
What?
But you have to get a pass for it. So it starts today, actually 11 o'clock, and they encourage you to get it as quickly as you can because they expect it to sell out quickly, so it may be too late. I don't know. I haven't checked. But if not, and you love burgers, especially Red Robin burgers, yum, like the old commercial. Do they still do that one where they go, Red Robin?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I didn't know if that.
I don't really know, but I think so.
Well, they now have a burger pass for $20, only $20. You can get a burger and your bottomless side every day in the month of May, which I would not encourage you to go there every day in the month of May for it, but you'll have the capability of doing it if you get this pass. And they say that it's good for up to $22 worth of food and beverages every single day for a max value of $682.
Nice.
What? So I didn't even realize that it was National Burger Month next month. But hey, if you want to get ready for the beach and just have a month just slamming burgers, then
is that getting you ready for the beach?
Yeah.
I am more than beach ready.
One beach, yes.
I am more than beach ready.
There you go. You can get a bunch of burgers and their fries, which are all delicious. That campfire sauce is, woo, I love that stuff. But I also love Play some good bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right. Let's go. I think I got everything wrong yesterday.
Yeah.
No good.
I don't know if I
Bad.
did or not, but all on the ice again today, because leading into the playoffs. So the New York Islanders are going to be in Columbus taking on those spunky Blue Jackets. I think the Blue Jackets and company are coming away with a win here at home. So give me the Blue Jackets, and I'll take the under 6.5. That's plus 175.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Blue Jackets. I hope they put on a show for their fans tonight. Columbus would have been the best story in the NHL if they made the playoffs. Montreal's a great story, too. But, man, everything that Columbus went through. All right, I'm just going to give you 2 anytime goal scorers from Carolina and Ottawa. Carolina will score tonight. Bradley Nadeau will score tonight.
I hope so.
Plus 725,
Ooh.
by the way, for Bradley Nadeau.
Wow.
Ridley Gregg for Ottawa. He will be an anytime goal scorer, plus 460.
Oh, wow.
Go for it.
I know.
Thank me later.
I like Nadeau.
I would never steer you wrong.
He looks sharp. Next one, another New York team, but the New York Rangers at home are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the Lightning are coming away with a win here, and I'll take the under 6.5. That's plus 230.
All right. We're going to save all of our series picks for tomorrow. We have Europa League second leg. Man United is, 2-2 on aggregate with Lyon. I think we're going to end up in penalties here. So plus 300 for a draw in this match.
We love draws here.
Plus 300. Man United at home has not been good.
Ooh.
And Lyon is fun.
Yeah. Well, last but not least, Red Wings versus Maple Leafs at home in Toronto. Give me the Maple Leafs in the under 5.5 plus 215.
And because Tottenham isn't allowed to win anything, give me Frankfurt plus 130 at home to move on to the semifinals of Europa. We'll have the Wall of Sound. You'll hear from Caleb Foster at Duke. What is he doing?
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Have you heard the old phrase, timing is everything? Well, when it comes to your mortgage, timing should not be part of the equation at all because you need a mortgage now. Maybe you want to refinance, take out some equity in the home, pay off some bills. Maybe you want to take a vacation. You're buying a home. You need to keep as much of your own money as possible. So don't pay closing costs. Thousands of dollars stay in your mattress, account, pocket, wherever you keep your money. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage, is the place to go. Your loan amount will never be increased to cover the closing cost like so many other companies do. And the fact is, if you pay closing costs, you're only lowering your payment by about $50 a month. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2146.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 to 3.8 to 9.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain or just struggling with daily activities because of discomfort in your knees, back, or other parts of your body? Well, I've got great news. It's called DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, a solution that can help you get back to feeling like yourself again without the risks of invasive surgery or long-term prescription drug use. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness is a regenerative medicine clinic. Their innovative treatment options address the root cause of your pain to promote healing and prevent re-injury for long-lasting pain relief. If you have arthritis, joint pain, sports injuries, or other conditions, their highly trained medical providers will develop a cutting-edge treatment plan tailored just for you with little to no downtime. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness can get you back to doing the things you love. Call DaVita Med Spa and Wellness today, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Cars, cool people, good times. America's favorite car show is back. The Good Guys 10th Griot's Garage North Carolina Nationals presented by Trimmett. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds in Raleigh. Cruise on out and see over 1,500 of the Southeast's finest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Autocross racing, a Saturday night demolition derby, vendor midway, live entertainment, and more. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. Details at good-guys.com.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Learn more at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
What do you think his number ends at?
8.
Yeah, I think it could be higher, but yeah.
He could win the next 3.
Kind of could.
Yeah, Quail Hollow, Oakmont, Port Rush. And you want to talk about exercising demons? He missed the cut. He missed the cut at Port Rush last time.
He had the course record at one point when he was a teenager.
Yeah, I'm in on 8. That's and maybe and probably one more Masters.
That's Chip Patterson from yesterday. Like, we talked about everything, including a little Masters postscript. I'm not sure if people know this. Rory McIlroy won the Masters.
He did.
Completed the career Grand Slam in the process.
That he did.
And I hope he wins all of the remaining majors. All of them.
He could.
He hasn't not done that yet. Right? He hasn't lost a major since he won the Masters. Find the lie there. Still one in a row, though. But, yeah, I do. I haven't looked at future PGA odds, but he has won at Quail Hollow 4 times. And they're playing the PGA Championship there in a month. I like his chances to at least be in the hunt at Quail Hollow. Oakmont is the U.S. Open. That is a super difficult golf course, but he's the best player. Dustin Johnson won the U.S. Open the last time it was held there. And then after that, Royal Portrush, which is basically in his backyard. And he did not make the cut there in 2019 when it was held there for the first time. Shane Lowry, his bosom buddy, he was the guy who won it. He's from Ireland, but Royal Portrush is in Northern Ireland. It's a classic. They're all old courses that they play in the UK, but it is one of the legendary layouts in British golf. All right, let's do a wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, we talked a little bit about the game last night. Carolina losing to Montreal on 4-2. So, Rod Brindamore, how did you feel like the younger guys played?
I think they acquitted themselves well. I really do. I think
like I said, it's a tough environment to walk in, but I thought all of them, did a nice job.
All right. Skylar Brindamore made his NHL debut. As a coach, what'd you think?
He was fine. He had the one mess up on I think the second goal. Covered the wrong guy and kind of took him too far in, and then they screened the goalie on a long shot, which, like I said, if there's no screen, that's not going in. But other than that, I thought he handled himself pretty well. And, like I said, all the guys did a good job.
I thought Skylar struggled in the first period, and then I felt like he got better as the game grew longer. He won a bunch of faceoffs, so apple doesn't fall too far. All right, now the goaltender, Pyotr Kochetkov. Rod is going to be kind here.
I mean, you can't fault him on, the goals. The guy's right in front of him, so he didn't see the shots. He'd love to, if he sees those, he's probably saving them. They're wristers from well out, but he didn't get a good look at it. So, you tip their hat for their team to get traffic. And when he made a couple of good saves to keep us kind of allowed to keep hanging in there.
All right, here, my opinion, Rod was protecting Kochetkov. I legitimately think he was screened on the first one. Skylar Brindamore could have done a better job to make that screen not be as big a problem, and he didn't. But there was a screen on the third goal. Kochetkov looked around it and still allowed the goal. He was way too small. He was on his knees. The shot came from well out. Not quite at the blue line, but not, it wasn't close enough to go in. To me, that's a bad goal. Again, there was a screen, but Kochetkov was looking around it. I'm pretty sure he saw the release of the shot. But he was too low. The second goal, yes, Nick Suzuki, one of the best players in the league, wide open. I mean, not right close to the net, but close enough. But the bottom line is that it didn't go over his shoulder. It beat him short side. That's a bad goal. Flat out. Rod's being kind. I don't blame him for being kind because he's still trying to keep Kochetkov, keep his head in it because he knows he's going to need him. They will not beat. They might beat the Devils with just Frederik Andersen. And the fact that there are 3 days in between games twice in this series may benefit Carolina. May benefit Andersen. But I don't like night game, day off, and then day game. I think Kochetkov has to play one of those games. I don't know that Kochetkov has to play in game 1 or 2 or game 2 because I think Freddie will start game 1. But nervous about Carolina's goaltending going into the playoffs. Flat out. All right, real quick from Skylar Brindamore. You made the NHL. Describe that experience.
Yeah, it's been a lot of emotions, kind of all over the place. But it was a lot of fun. Obviously, it's the best league in the world, so it's tough to, get your feet wet in that kind of environment tonight with, playoffs on the line for him. So, but it was really cool to be able to do that, and just so grateful for everybody that's helped me get to this point.
I like Dad, Coach. What does Skylar call Rod?
I know, right?
Dad or Coach? Well, he probably didn't say anything.
It's gotta be Dad, right?
Like, did Skylar go yes, Dad, at any point during the game?
Yeah.
No, I'm not even going to ask Rod that today. We've moved on past that other than how was it? Anyway, we've talked about Nico Iamalieva. I screwed it up. I worked all day on that.
You were so good. You started out strong today.
Iamalieva. We talked a lot about that yesterday and the day before and the day before. Held out, and Tennessee moved on, and the anti-kids making money brigade, like, yeah, Tennessee, way to go, show those kids. Chill. Unusual. But this will not be the last time this happens unless colleges do something about it that benefits both parties. Jay Billis from ESPN was on Mike Krzyzewski's Basketball and Beyond show on Sirius XM, and he has a solution to what we are dealing with.
The NCAA used to die on the hill of amateurism in court. Now they're dying on the employment hill. They can't be employees. We can't have them as employees. Don't understand that because students are employees at every school in the country in different capacities, non-athlete students. But if they would just sign the players to contracts, if you don't want to collectively bargain, if you collectively bargain with the players, you can certainly do all the things that the NBA or the NFL do with salary caps because you're in a partnership with players. But if you don't want to do that, all you have to do is sign them to a contract. But the NCAA won't allow that right now. So you negotiate with a player. If you were recruiting me, which you would never do again after the first time, but if you were recruiting me, you'd say, hey, we're willing to offer you a 3-year deal with an option for a 4th. If you get arrested, we get to terminate. It's mandatory class attendance. You have to do this, this, and this. And there's going to be a buyout in there. We negotiate the amount of the buyout. So if I wanted to leave, go somewhere else, I'd have to pay the buyout, or my new school would have to pay the buyout. It's pretty simple. It's really not that big of a deal.
Anybody want to argue with that? So that's the other thing that we do. The NCAA is moving goalposts, is what they do better than anything else. They move goalposts. They try to hoard as much money for themselves as they can and keep it away from the product. And I'm no longer going to respond to like vitriol towards players. Greedy players. Those football and basketball players are greedy. Because the coaches and the administrators and the conference commissioners aren't. Because that's why we have schools in California and central New Jersey in the same league. That's why we have schools in Napa and Miami in the same league, because they're not greedy. The level of dumb never ceases to amaze me. So once we now have gotten past the amateurism, because that's over. Once we've gotten past that, now, as Jay talks about, we can't be employees. They can never do that. Then they'll have to pay taxes. And I fail to see the problem with that. Yes, if they earn money, they will have to pay taxes.
Like everyone else.
My gosh. I shouldn't say the schools, because the schools can pretend that they're nonprofit.
Right.
Because we're actually dealing with this now with Harvard. Right? I'm not going to get into the news story, but you saw the threat to take away their tax-exempt status.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so if anybody earns money, if you get paid to do a job, yes, you owe taxes. Why is this a negative?
It's not a new concept.
Right? This is not. You know what? They're going to have to pay taxes now. I'm like, yep.
How dare they?
That is right. Accountants will make a lot of money now.
Dump the tea.
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
So, but Jay Billis said, we're not going to do the collective bargaining element here, which they should, because they'd protect themselves, just as players would be protected as well. They could sign contracts, but nope, can't do that. And a lot of grad students are paid. It might not cover your grad school. You're not paid a ton, but they're employees. Okay. When we come back, Will Palashik, who's the voice of, too many voices, Charlotte FC. He does Panthers post. He does Hornets pre and post. Everywhere. We're going to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Will Palashik joins us next.
questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made rebound. Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I apologize to all of you NBA fans. I failed you yesterday. I went 0 for 2, so maybe we will not give you an NBA wager today. What we will do, though, is remind you that all new customers can get $250 in bonus bets if you make your first $5 wager. Hey, I have an idea. I'll tell you a wager, and you do the opposite so you can win and get $250 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Man, you will win today at home against Lyon. Ha ha. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander here for Clayton Homes, and it's here, the Go Big and Go Home sales event. Ginormous savings. Is that a word? Ginormous savings. New homes starting under $150,000. These prices, a big deal. Go big this year with a modern, affordable, and energy-efficient home. Built completely with quality products and energy-smart features for year-round comfort and, most importantly, long-term savings. Every penny counts, folks. You know that. Built in state-of-the-art facilities, every Clayton-built home is made to last. Visit the local Clayton Homes or Oakwood Homes near you or browse their limited-time deals at GoBigAndGoHomeSale.com. Maybe you'll even find a floor plan designed to fit your lifestyle, but do not wait. The sales event ends April 30th. Sales price is for the home only and does not include required taxes, delivery, and installation. Install price will be higher. Contact your local retailer for complete sales price information and for a list of eligible homes. Discount may not be available on all models. May not be combined with any other offer or promotion. Sales event ends 4/30/2025.
Interest rates have plummeted. It's time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. If you're looking to get cash out of your home equity, refinance out of a high rate, or do a home improvement project, Loan Pronto can make it happen in a matter of days. Take advantage of this opportunity and get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off all your credit cards. Pay off your car loans. The average homeowner cuts their monthly bills by $1,000. Get more info at loanpronto.com. Inflation and higher costs have put a lot of people in a stressful financial situation. But if you own a home, there's a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks, and most don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on those credit cards. Wipe them all out. Get a lower mortgage rate. Get some money for that home improvement project. It all starts by getting in contact with the experts at this, Loan Pronto. LoanPronto.com or call 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Spring into deals with fresh savings at Lowe's. Right now, get 4 Stay Green or Premium 2 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances and save $50 on every $500 you spend on select LG appliances. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details or qualifying items. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes. He
and I
hurt
went,
you.
oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the 1s and 2s. We've given you the Hurricanes playoff schedule. Charlotte FC is back at it this weekend. Will they have the man himself, Wilfred Zaha, the voice of Charlotte FC, but we are going to run the gamut. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff with Willie P. Style, who joins us on the Adam Gold Show. That's his Twitter. We've got Panthers football, Hornets basketball. Does that still work? Does Hornets basketball? Can we still say that?
That's still a thing. That definitely is still a thing, Adam. Although the season has ended, so now obviously the next thing in the offing for them is the battle with the ping pong balls, which will happen here in a little bit less than a month's time.
So obviously Cooper Flagg would be their guy. If it is not Flagg, where do they go?
I mean, you could go with Ace Bailey. There's obviously also a couple of other wings that are up there. I'm very curious, just based on if it's not Flagg, like what ends up happening. Just because so much of I think this off season is this is where Jeff Peterson has to feel bold. And he said he had a quote out of the exit interview day that maybe got misinterpreted a little bit by the folks who maybe didn't parse it carefully enough or didn't hear the context. But people said, oh, the goal next year is to get in the playoffs. Well, he didn't quite say it just like that, but basically this really, from the Hornets standpoint, this has got to be the off season where you really have to kind of be almost done with the rebuild. So
right.
Maybe if it's a scenario where they sit themselves in the lottery, but they're not in a position where they get Cooper Flagg or they don't get Ace Bailey or they don't get one of the high-priced wins, because they can fall to as low as 7 based on the odds, Adam. So that's something where there's a wide berth between 1 and 7 where they can finish. And so I think it obviously comes down to where they fall. They're not going to draft based on need, I don't think, because I think it's a scenario
they need everything.
They just want to get a good player. They'll get the best player available, right. And I don't mean to deflect on the question, but it obviously is it obviously depends on where they are. Because again, being 1 is different than being at 2 versus different being at 3. If you're all the way down at 7, I feel like it'd be a massive disappointment. Not unlike last year, where they felt like they had an opportunity to move up, but other teams spoiled the apple cart, as you know.
Let me ask you one final question about the Hornets. I will get back to the NBA in a sec, but who are the players that will definitely be part of this core going forward?
I think Brandon Miller is a definite, just based on the fact that I think he had a pretty good sophomore year trajectory before the injury happened. Right. I would say that LaMelo Ball is still very much in the plans of the team. I think all this talk about trading him is more bluster than I think it is actual reality. And I do think Miles Bridges made himself a case this year based with his on-court play. I know that there are some people who are, going to be perpetually out on him because of what happened off the court, and I understand that. But with his on-court play, based on durability, based on how steady he was this season, I think he made himself a definite case to be a part of the Hornets' future. I think that's honestly where it ends. Obviously, Tijon Salon is part of that too, but I think, again, he's more of an ambitious it's more ambitious to call him part of the core, because I think he's still got a lot of development left in him. I don't know if Mark Williams is part of the future yet, because they obviously showed you what they thought of him when they tried to trade him to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, and then the Lakers, I guess they kept the receipt. I didn't realize you could return a player, but...
it's funny. He did a Q&A on Twitter last night, and somebody flat out asked him, why the Lakers changed their mind, and he said, you have to ask them. And Jeff Peterson kind of gave a non-answer for it on exit interview day, which, again, I think for all of us, myself included, who wanted to see maybe a little bit more depth and a little bit more explanation as to why that happened, it'll be one of the great unanswered questions of our time, Adam. But that's I think that's one of the big unfortunate things that came out of this week, is that we really didn't get anything concrete as to what ended up happening from the organizational aspect of why that trade wasn't consummated.
Yeah, and he played. He came back and he played. So, I mean, I'm going to guess there wasn't a failed physical.
Well, that's the thing that I think is the most admirable part about it from Mark's perspective. I think any one of us could have sat there and been like, you know what, I don't even want to play. He could have. I would not have imagined it being a bad thing that if he didn't play another minute as a Hornet after that trade didn't go through. But credit to him, he played. He didn't play every game. There was some injury, foot management stuff going on down the stretch, but I give him credit. I still think that the issues of why they wanted him traded didn't necessarily reconcile themselves. I think from an injury aspect, it's still something you have to monitor. And I also think that there are parts of his game defensively that lead themselves to, I don't know if he can develop into being a lead at that part of his game. But I do think he's still a pretty good offensive player. He's a great rebounder. He's becoming a better passer. They're trying to work the three-point game into his concept as well. Is he ever going to be an elite rim protector? I significantly doubt that.
Will Palaszczuk is joining us here. He's the voice of Charlotte FC. They just announced the U.S. Open Cup next round will be Charlotte FC versus NCFC early May here in Raleigh, Cary at Wake Med Soccer Park. First of all, before we get to the crown, that is pretty doggone cool. That I don't know that there is a rivalry between these two sides because I don't believe they've ever met in anything other than a friendly. But this will not be friendly, and I'm going to guess that the crown will bring an A squad to this.
Yeah, we just got done talking to Dean Smith, and it's very interesting when you ask that question because I asked that exact question because our only real experience with a Dean Smith coach Charlotte FC in a non-MLS competition was last year in the Leagues Cup, and to be quite frank, I don't know if they really went for it the way that many wanted them to. They played a heavily rotated squad in two contests against Philadelphia Union and Cruz Azul. They lost the Union contest. They won the Cruz Azul game in penalties. But from the standpoint of where they sit, from what he talked about, I think the squad might still be rotated, but I think they'll still bring all the big bullets. And I think too, from the standpoint, it also stands to reason there's a lot of time between now and then. You have to kind of figure about where injuries and health are at that point. So I think it's hard for him to give a concrete answer on that. But the one thing he did say is that he believes they have a squad good enough to go and win every competition that they play in this season, and the Open Cup is included in that. So I see no reason to think that it will not be a representative squad. Will it be a scenario where you see, Zaha, Abada, Ajiman, all three of them starting up top? I think, again, a lot of that remains to be seen based on what happens between now and then. It's also, Adam, in the middle of a stretch where they're going to be playing 8 out of 10 MLS contests and 9 out of 11 if you count the U.S. Open Cup away from home. So there's that to consider as well. It comes in a very brutal part of the schedule, but as we say, this is probably, of the competitions they'll play in, the fastest path to getting to CONCACAF, fastest path to get to a trophy. It is something you look at and say, Charlotte FC is going to put their full strength towards.
Will Palaszczuk is joining us here. For people who don't know, U.S. Open Cup is, if people follow FA Cup in English soccer, it is the multi-tiered knockout tournament, and the old Carolina Railhawks twice defeated LA Galaxy at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. Now, the Galaxy did not bring Landon Donovan and David Beckham when they were under their employ. They didn't even make the trip. But I could get, because it isn't that big a deal to MLS teams, and you and I haven't talked about this. I think it's terrible for American soccer, for U.S. soccer, that MLS has negotiated their way out of many of their best clubs, not sending their teams. They're sending academy teams. I just think it's bad for the sport. Now, Charlotte FC is Charlotte FC. They're not sending the academy. It might not be a wholly representative team, but it bothers me that MLS is not embracing this event.
Well, it's something that we asked Dean about also earlier today, and he said that, and I think it's the first time we've heard anybody from the club say on record that they were disappointed that Charlotte FC was not a full participant in the Open Cup last year. Crown Legacy, their B team or their MLS Next Pro team was, and they lost in the opening round of it. And I think that, again, is something that the opinion on it varies team by team. There is the talk about, schedule congestion being a thing. MLS obviously has a vested interest in the Leagues Cup, which it plays with
Sure.
Liga MX. I think the biggest problem when it comes to all this is that the roster size is not big enough from an MLS standpoint. The biggest, drawback to playing these contests is that you can't expand the roster. And I think if MLS was allowed to expand their roster in a way that could include a lot more of their, lower division players and academy players to play without penalty, and again, that might end up being a part of future entities and future parts of this cup competition, then maybe it's different. But even Dean Smith said, look, he was in a Villa squad that played in the final of the Carabao Cup Club, and Liverpool in the semifinals basically played their under-21 side in the semifinal because they had, the Club World Cup basically the same week or the following week. So it's not just unique to the United States.
No.
I'm with you. I feel like MLS should be a full participant in this competition. I think it's disingenuous to call it an open cup if, in fact, every club in America isn't playing in it. But at the same point in time, it's better this year than it has been. There's definitely more inclusion this year with it. But like you said, I think that there needs to be some reform in the way they organize the roster size in order to try and get this to a position where you can get away with playing three, and even some teams also, because of playing in CONCACAF, won't play in the Open Cup as well. So there's obvious drawbacks to each part of it, and but I agree with you. This is something that should be taken a lot more. Should be taken with a lot more care because it is the oldest competition we play for in this country.
All right, talk to me before we let you go. Talk to me about Wilfred Zaha. What has he meant? By the way, I should point out 5-1-2, second in the East, and a lot of people, and from what I have seen, this has been a really good start for Charlotte FC. Zaha, Tim Ream, who's up there in age, and I know he's coming back from an injury. But there's a lot of youth as well as a lot of experience. But I watched Zaha play in Europe. The guy is absolutely dynamite, and when he's healthy, is as advertised.
He very much is, and he hasn't had what I would feel like is the best run up because of a lot of mitigating circumstances. The visa process kind of hampered the way he started with the preseason. He also had his first daughter,
right,
which made him miss the opener, and he's had a little bit of a thumb issue that made him miss last week, not because of the thumb necessarily, but because there was a mandatory 10-day post-infection or post-operation infection control. They didn't want the stitches to get infected, et cetera, and so on. But he's good to go. He should be good to go this weekend for what Dean Smith told us. And look, anytime he touches the ball, it's box office. When he was, I think going into the last contest, he was among the top guys in progressive carries in the league. So he definitely knows how to get his ball off the man. In terms of trying to get him in more dangerous areas, that's something that they're trying to make happen. And look, even Dean Smith told me, he said, look, we definitely miss something when he's not on the pitch, and you have to almost kind of put one or two people having some significant responsibility to replace what he brings to the table, or at least attempt to replace what he brings to the table. Him being back definitely vaults this Charlotte FC squad up, and hopefully with no more injuries or anything else in his way, he can have a proper run-up and gather a little bit of momentum here as we get through the stretch run of the season.
Well, I'm going to put pressure on him to play in May at the U.S. Open Cup against NCFC, so we can watch him over here at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary. You're coming up for that, right?
I plan to. A lot of it depends on which day that it is. I have some things that I might have to move if it ends up being on Tuesday, but I'm going to make every effort to be there for the match when it happens.
Well, I'll fill in for you if you're not available.
I appreciate
that. And
I
will ruin your broadcast if you are coming up. I'd be more than happy to come up and ruin your broadcast.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, he said, Will's like, no part of you, Gold. Willie P. Style on Twitter, voice of Charlotte FC, also with WFNZ. Hornets, Panthers. We'll do it again very soon, sir. We'll talk more Panthers before the draft. How's that sound?
Always appreciate it, Adam, anytime.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Will Pelagic, at Willie P. Style on Twitter. I saw that matchup today. I went, that's spicy. Also, my fault. It was a comeback by NCFC. They were down 1-0 to Charlotte Independence down there. Scored 3 times to win it 3-1 away. That's pretty good. All right, we'll have a rewind when we come back. A lot of Hurricanes hockey to discuss. Corey Lavalette joined us. How good is Alexander Nikishin? Could we see him play? Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the NBA play-in tournament is almost upon us, and FanDuel is giving all new customers a chance at $250 in bonus bets. Join today, place your first $5 wager. If that wins, $250 of their money belongs to you. 3-pointers, steals, assists, whatever. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS for the NBA play-in tournament. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
70 years ago, PBS North Carolina began its journey, and you, North Carolina, have been with us every step of the way. From the adventures of Mr. Rogers to the mysteries of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, you've inspired us to keep going. Thanks to you, we've been able to expand beyond TV, touching lives in classrooms and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria, producing the program. Regular season finale against the Ottawa Senators tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. My expectations are that we will see basically the same lineup, probably just different goalie. Frederik Andersen expected to start for Carolina, and let's all keep our fingers crossed that nothing happens to Freddie because, alternatives not grand at this point. I've heard, and we'll hear in the, we might hear this in the rewind, I'm not sure, because we talked to Corey Lavalette earlier about, we're hoping that Andrei Svechnikov can just flip a switch and we'll get playoff Andrei. Anything is possible. We see it all the time where an athlete will have an incredible first half of a season. There will be an all-star break, whatever. Maybe this player is an all-star, maybe he's not. And the second half of the season starts and it's a different player. There are just natural resets within a season. And in this case, I think the Carolina Hurricanes are definitely hoping that the end of the regular season will provide a reset for Andrei Svechnikov. And that Andrei will start the playoffs looking like the Andrei that, not even the Andrei we think is there, not even the 30, 35 goal Andrei. How about the Andrei that just impacts the game in a positive way all the time? He went through a pretty long scoring drought last year. It was something like 18 games in a row without a goal. And I swear, every conversation I had with Rod Brindamore was the same thing. Like, not worried about him. He's generating chances. He's playing well. He's just not scoring goals. The goals will come. I can't remember the last time I had that conversation with Rod about Andrei. Because he's not generating. He is not playing well. And we're looking at little things. Is that the sign? Is that the thing that gets him going? Hopefully, the natural reset from the regular season to the postseason will do it. I would say the same thing, by the way, for Pyotr Kochetkov. Let's hope that Pyotr focuses better once the games absolutely have consequences. Every loss hurts. Regular season losses don't hurt, especially when you've known your playoff fate for a long time, even if it wasn't mathematical. Playoff losses, you get 4, and we're done.
Yeah.
That's it. So
I saw a fun little bracket that had the teams if the Stanley Cup was decided by regular season series. And it had the Canes going all the way to the end with the Kings, and then the Canes losing.
They did. They lost both games to the Kings.
Yeah, it wasn't
good. They got smoked.
But they made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs in this bracket.
Yep,
So
that
was
fun. Canes and Devils shared. It was 2-2.
Yeah, I don't know how they decided between that, but
Because
they had
we're
the Canes
better.
going. We're
Because
just
we're nicer.
because that was an easy choice.
Yeah, because they have
the
Eric
Devils.
Holla. And we don't, therefore we win. That's
Exactly.
the tiebreaker.
We always win
Which
with that.
team has Eric Holla? That team
Right.
loses.
And we have Jarvie, so that
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
us win.
Seth Jarvis is the positive tiebreaker.
Yeah.
He's the anti-Eric Holla. All right, so before we get to the rewind, we have to talk about this very quickly. First of all, Aaron Rodgers came on with Pat McAfee today and said that he was undecided about whether or not he would play. I'm sure he wants to play. I'm sure he doesn't want his only option to be Pittsburgh. But it does appear that that is the only option. So, he's mad at the Jets. So, here's the deal. He complained that he flew cross-country on his own dime, he said, to meet with the Jets, only to be asked by Aaron Glenn, the new head coach, who asked him, do you want to play football? Rodgers said yes. Glenn runs out of the room, brings the general manager back. I don't know the new GM's name. Brings the general manager back, and they say, we're moving in another direction. Aaron's mad at the Jets because, well, they could have done that over the phone. Fair. I certainly see his point. If they didn't get a positive vibe about Aaron, they could have done that over the phone. They could have saved Aaron, I don't know, $1,000 in airfare.
Sure.
Now, he probably flies first class.
I'm sure, yes.
So let's say $2,000. I have never flown first class. I don't know what that would cost.
Me either.
From wherever he lives in California. I think he lives in Malibu. So L.A. to Newark, because all the Jets offices are in New Jersey. Maybe he flies into Kennedy or LaGuardia. Either way, first class, it's got to be $2,000.
Yep.
Rental car.
Extra Biscoff cookies.
Yeah,
in the flight.
True. That's right. But you got the flight. You get those for free. You don't pay for anything. You're probably not paying for a carry-on either.
Yeah.
So you fly, you rent a car, you drive to Florham Park, which is where the Jets offices are. Maybe you stay in a hotel. I'm sure he's staying in the Westin Hackensack. I have no idea if there's a Westin in Hackensack. Anyway, so he does all that, all on his dime. Good money that Aaron Rodgers put out to fly cross country, to be told in like under 5 minutes, don't let the door hit you in the rear end on the way out. And he's mad at this. My counter would have been, it didn't need to be. The Jets didn't have to do anything other than, sorry, we're moving in a different direction. And if you wanted to say that Aaron would have been mad had the Jets done this on the phone, I'm not going to argue with you. It's very possible he would have been mad either way. As the Jets, as if Woody Johnson were part of this meeting, he could have said, Aaron, so that vacation, that non-refundable vacation to Egypt last year during training camp, which didn't sneak up on you, since training camps are at the same time of the year every year. How should we have felt about that? That wasn't disrespectful. Disrespectful that we made you pay for the, $2,000 to fly from your home in Malibu to here and back, assuming. That was disrespectful, but you skipping out on a week of training camp because you had a vacation plan for Egypt that you could have taken at any time, that wasn't disrespectful at all. Yeah. I get it. Fantastic. Pittsburgh. You missed your window with all the other quarterbacks.
Oh.
You're stuck. Good luck.
Poor Pittsburgh.
Good luck.
Poor Mike Tomlin.
Good luck.
Oof.
Let's rewind. Corey Lavalette from The Athletic and North State Journal. We were talking about Alexander Nikishin. So can't get him here in an NHL game because he doesn't have a visa to work in Canada. He has a visa to work in the United States at this point. We still need to work out a visa. Like, I'm sure it'll be taken care of by next year or maybe even the next round of the playoffs if Carolina wants him to play against the Montreal Canadiens and Carolina and Montreal both advance. Anyway, if we couldn't get him into an NHL game, Eric Tulsky said that they would send him to Chicago. Does that seem like a good idea if he could get here? Wolves have games tomorrow and Saturday.
Tomorrow might be asking a bit much, I think, with everything the kid's gone through. I say kid, but I mean, we're not talking about he's a kid to us, but we're not talking about an 18.
They're all kids to me, Corey.
Me too. Yeah.
The head coach is a kid to me.
That hurts. Yeah. So, I mean, I think tomorrow might be, I guess you could do that, but it might be better to just, give him another day, let him get acclimated and maybe see if they can get him in that final Chicago Wolves game. Though, do you determine it's better for him to join the Hurricanes here and practice?
Right.
And let the people who are going to really make the decisions get a look at you in person. With that said, Eric Tulsky basically said we need to, you can't win it. You can't not take someone's job away in practice is the way he put it. So can you take somebody's job away by playing in the AHL? I don't know. Maybe.
Who would be the candidate to sit if Alexander Nikishin drew into a playoff game?
It's a tough one, right? Because everybody you look at as a possibility gives you something that you want. Shane Gostisbehere runs your first power play. Now, the power play hasn't been great. So is that an option? But if you do that, who's running your first power play? Is Brent Burns running your first power play? Well, that hasn't gone so great either.
Or is Alexander Nikishin running your first power play?
Yeah, right. That might. And then, I think Dmitry Orlov comes up on a lot of people's radar. But I think playoff experience, Stanley Cup experience, physicality, all of those things. Now Nikishin brings the physicality and the size and all that. However, the experience, this is the NHL. We're talking a different animal here.
Right.
So there's that option. You look at Sean Walker. I think the way he moves and his versatility is really valuable. I don't think Jalen Chatfield's coming out of the lineup. No. I think he's been their second most consistent defenseman. And clearly, if Brent Burns isn't going to take a day off to get ready for the playoffs so he can keep his streak going, I don't think.
Right.
I just think even if Rod Brindamore determined he's the weakest link, the way Rod's career ended, I don't think he would do that to Brent Burns just out of respect. And that might be a blind spot for Rod Brindamore, but I think, there's too many parallels there, right? With how Rod went out and what you would do if you scratch Brent Burns for the playoffs.
I would also add this. Brent Burns is not the sixth best defenseman on that team. Just not. I think Carolina right now, what they lack is a true number one right defenseman. If I was ranking their defenseman on the right side, Jalen Chatfield would be the best one. But you can't, you could play Chatfield and Slavin together, but then what you have are two weakened pairs, two lesser pairs. Orlov and Burns can't cover for each other. They just can't. Orlov needs cover. Burns needs cover. That's the problem. Carolina's kind of inflexible. And I would say this about any offensive-minded defenseman. They need cover. Burns doesn't need cover because he's no good. Burns needs cover because of the way he plays. Same thing with Orlov. Walker and Gostisbehere are Walker's more neutral than he is offensive-minded. Gostisbehere is more offensive-minded. You could argue that Walker is more cover for Gostisbehere, but they're both pretty neutral the way I've seen it this year. If Nikishin was going to draw in, it would be for one of those two. It might not have to be Gostisbehere, because I was told that Nikishin could play his offside. And most defensemen really can. Dmitry Orlov's better on his offside. You could play Orlov with Gostisbehere. Frankly, that wouldn't be the worst thing we've ever seen. I ain't lying. And Nikishin with Chatfield. and put Walker and take Walker out of the lineup if you wanted to. So I think if they put Nikishin in, it would be at the expense of either Sean Walker or Shane Gostisbehere. One more thing from Corey. Seth Jarvis has had a wonderful year. I do not expect him to play tonight. Same with Aho, same with Blake, same with Stahl, same with Martinook, Slavin, and Sheffield. Fair to call Seth Jarvis their best forward?
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I don't think Sebastian Aho has had a particularly great year. He padded his stats a lot in the beginning of the year on the power play. But since this line has come together, he's been much, much better. And I think that's scary for other teams, is now all of a sudden you have a top line with two guys that I think are, right on the tip of that superstar status. But Seth Jarvis, I think, is continues to grow into, and you saw Team Canada picked him for Four Nations
over Nick Suzuki.
There's a reason that happened, because everyone's kind of seeing, even though he's a little in the shadows here in Raleigh. What a player. I mean, just a fantastic, and their little power kill that they got going is something else. And they both need to help get the power play going. That's the big thing.
I mean, the difference between the Hurricanes in the first, half of the year and the second half of the year, the fact that scoring is down by about a goal per game. That's a pretty gigantic disparity. The difference really has been the power play. All the other numbers, if you looked at them, analytically speaking, expected goals, all of the things that you would look at to determine why Carolina isn't scoring, they all look the same. Similar enough. It's the power play that doesn't. There was a time, and it was a long time ago, where the Hurricanes' power play was one of the best in the league. I mean, it wasn't in the Tampa, Edmonton category, but it was one of the best in the league. And there came a moment where it became one of the worst in the league. And that is the difference. And I contend it has nothing to do with the guy on the blue line. That it's not Gostisbehere, that it's not Burns, that it's not anybody. I contend that it's about forwards, it's about confidence, and it's about trusting each other, and sometimes they need to make it simple. I would love to see a power play that simply got the puck, fired it at the net, and gone after it. One extra guy should give you an advantage when it comes to the pursuit of a loose puck. That's just me. Simplify it. Victoria, thank you. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
So you're looking for a fun night out, a cool hang to watch the game, maybe even a date night. Adam Gold here, and you need to check out X Golf in Cary, McGregor Village, off of US 64. X Golf has the best simulator play you've ever experienced, over 60 world-renowned courses to